back to the homestead. Today we're going to be spending a morning in the kitchen garden. We're going to be doing some weeding, watering, and building a pathway. Getting flat rocks for the pathway. So we got a couple rocks down here at the spring. I think these two might be too thick, but I'm gonna bring them just in case because they'll look really cool if they do work in the cement rock pathway. Now we're gonna go down to a different part of our creek to see if we can get some more. So we're gonna go ahead and unload these rocks, not carrying the wagon all over the place with a bunch of rocks in it. And then we'll show you all the other spot we're going to. So here we are at the other part of our creek. You've seen us play in the spot by the road before, and we went ahead and unloaded the other flat rocks we got, so we weren't lugging them all around. But as you can see, this spot over here is just loaded with flat rocks all over through here. I think all the flat rocks that we need are gonna be right here.
Plenty of rocks for the cement walk pathway. Well, let's get building.
Nadie is spraying off the rocks because a lot of them have moss and stuff, so we're just cleaning them off so that the cement adheres to them nicely.
So we don't have drip irrigation in our garden yet, but we do have a well and a hose now that we can water about half the garden with. The rest we have to hand carry watering pitchers to water the rest of the garden.
Oh, there's a big cabbage right here.
Yeah, that one's almost ready. Hooray! Cabbage is exciting. When the bugs don't get it, huh? We'll get to enjoy it. Do you like hand watering, Josh?
Sometimes it's a little enjoyable, but not always.
Yeah. The hotter it is, the less we enjoy it, huh? Mm-hmm. Of course, then we just really get wet to cool off, huh?
Yeah.
So as you all probably know, the best time to weed in the garden is right after a rain or after watering. So we're gonna get everything watered and then we're gonna do some weeding. The front part of the garden right next to the house is not too bad, but the back of the garden, I'll just show you here. It is getting pretty bad back here. This has all been weeded so many times, but look at that. This is supposed to be a pathway and it's just a weedy jungle. And our long-term permanent solution to the crazy weeds is to just slowly, as we're able to, build cement rock pathways. And then we have a few other things that we're trying, like rock with moss in the cracks, and we may also do some rock with pea gravel. We did wood chips for the first 6 years of gardening, and it worked pretty well, but you really had to keep adding a lot of wood chips, at least a good thick layer every year, and we just couldn't keep up with it. Plus a lot of the wood chips we were getting from the city had plastic all mixed through it. So we kept finding chunks of plastic all throughout our walkways. We may still do some wood chips and sawdust in certain areas of the garden, but for the most part we're going to be transitioning to permanent pathways that we never have to weed again. And in the meantime, we are using quite a bit of this black landscape fabric. This is just a cheaper one that's biodegradable, so it breaks down pretty fast. But it is working so far to help. You can tell the difference there. Weeds? No weeds. But we didn't have enough for the whole garden, so we still have a lot of pathways that just get really weedy really fast. Yeah. Jay's tackling a crabgrass weed. Those are tough to get out, huh? Ooh, almost. You almost got it. You can do it. You can do it. Woo! Good job. So you think you get some more weeds out of this area here, Jay Bud?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool, thank you. The rock and moss pathway is looking really good.
Part of it's not really because it's in the sun. Part of it's in the sun.
Yeah, the part in the sun, the moss doesn't really care for that much. But over here in the shady part, it's still doing pretty good.
And right here too. I can tell that it's growing because of the shape of it.
Yeah, it is growing there. Nice. All right, happy weeding.
So we've done 2 cement rock pathways so far, and we've learned a lot. So for the one behind me here, we just used old Quickcrete and some other bags of cement too. And we didn't have quite enough of it, so as you can see here, it's kind of fallen apart a little bit.
Yeah, we ran out on this corner, so we still have to fill in this corner here.
Yeah.
And there's a few areas where it was just really shallow. We did have a couple bags of the newer stuff, but not quite enough. So it was too shallow and bits have broken off. But it actually looks cooler than the second one we did, I think, because the rocks really pop. They really stand out on this one. So here's our second one. And it's really hard to see the rocks. We actually, I think, put a little too much cement that time, huh? Yeah, so we used still the old bags of Quickcrete on the bottom layer to create almost like gravel, huh? Because we didn't have gravel. And then we put the newer stuff on top. And what was the thing that we did different with the water? Do you remember?
So the first one, we didn't put any water until we had everything, rocks and all, set in place.
Right. And so we think that maybe we didn't water it enough. A lot of the water was just kind of running off, so maybe that bottom layer didn't get quite enough water. But it's still pretty good. It's a solid walkway and it's gonna last a long time.
Yep. So for this one, we put the old bags down that were kind of like gravel, and then we put a first layer of concrete, watered it, and then we put the rocks on it, a second layer, and watered it.
Yeah, so we watered a whole first layer, then put all the rocks and the brand new Quickcrete all around the rocks and watered it again, huh? And it's solid. The second one is super solid. We haven't had any breakage or chipping. It's just one nice solid piece. So you can't see the rocks as well in this one, but I think over time, as the Quickcrete the top layer of Quickcrete brushes off, we have tried to brush it a little bit too. I think the rocks will show up a little more over time.
So now we're gonna do number 3.
Yep, we've got this pathway here to do. We've already formed it out. We do have to check and make sure everything's level, and we're working on washing all the rocks.
And then we gotta haul Quickcrete bags from the barn.
Right, no fun. And last time there were a bunch of brown recluse spiders in them, huh?
Yep.
So hopefully those have gone, and just have to be really careful. Look who came to help. Unhelp. So this is what we're using for the bottom layer. It's really hard, so we have to kind of break it up to be like gravel in the bottom of the walkway. So the brown recluses are still here. Gotta be really careful. Yeah. almost there. Load number 2.
Pretty much got our first layer in, now we're setting the rocks in place.
Yep, this is the fun part, huh?
Yep.
Getting the rocks all neatly patterned in there. Guys taking a fun little water break here.
Yep.
Is that fun, Middle? You're such a good sport, Josh. Alright, the rocks are pretty much in place and leveled. We just have a few more to finish at the end. But we're gonna take a quick lunch break. Ooh, Esther Pine made us cherry banana ice cream. Sounds delicious. Just 3 ingredients, huh? What'd you put in this?
Frozen cherries, frozen bananas, and our own milk from Dandy.
Cool. It is so delicious.
We're ready to water in our first layer of concrete.
Yep. All the rocks are leveled and in place, so we'll put water all over and then we'll come back and fill in the cracks and water again. Here we go.
That's that easy change right there.
And it takes a lot of water. The cement is very thirsty. So last time we actually measured out all the water according to the packaging. This time we just decided to wing it. You can kind of tell it looks saturated when it's good and wet, huh? And it doesn't look dry anymore. If it's not wet enough, you can almost see some dry patches in there. So I think we've fully saturated it. Now we're gonna put last layer of Quickcrete to fill in the cracks. We also just have this random top and bond concrete patcher, so we're going to do that as the very top layer, kind of intermixed with the Quickcrete, and hopefully that'll make a nice surface on the very top, huh?
Yep.
We don't really know what we're doing, but we're just using what we have, stuff that's been sitting around not being used, so figure might as well put it to use, huh?
Yep. You can see a spot.
Okay, we're putting the final water coat on. Just gonna make sure everything's level and looking good. Good job, Josh.
Thank you. So we got the pathway done, and Mr. Dwayne gave us some tips to make it look a little nicer. Thank you, Dwayne.
My pleasure.
So it's the next morning now. I just want to show you the final results. So we have 3 pathways now. Here's the first one. This one's pretty. Here's the second one. This one's strong. And here's the third one. Strong and pretty. Oh, real quick here. If you don't see your comments right away when you comment, because our comments are back, just remember that we hold them for review first, and then once we approve them, then they post. Well, that's about all we got for you today. Please go check out our mom and dad's channel, Homestead Living. We pray blessings over you and yours, and whatever you do, do it with your whole heart.